Wednesday the 24th of October and I'm just on my way to London for a cancellation appointment with the surgeon, and because it was a cancellation, although I am organised, I feel super stressed because I don't feel organised enough. I mean, I've got a list of my tracking, I've got a list of like for and against of surgery, I've got a video of what happens when I'm in hospital, I've got it all in one place, so I am organised, but I don't feel prepared enough. I think because I've fought for this appointment for so long and now it's here, it's like, oh. Well, I've had my surgeon's appointment and I've had time to reflect on what's been said, so I just thought I would give everybody an update. And basically the outline of the appointment was that the gynaecologist or surgeon, or whatever you want to call it, gynae surgeon, listened to how things had been for me since I last saw her, and then I showed her all my tracking and cycling charts since I last saw her, and I went through a list of reasons why I was kind of fighting for surgery at this stage, and I am going to refer to my computer because that's where I've got them written, so I'm going to be glancing at that. So these are my reasons that were: if I were to have a child whilst continuing to live as my life is now, or as it has been in the past, I fear that the child would have significant psychological problems due to the impact and instability of my illness. I've tried getting into relationships whilst I'm living like I am now and in the past, and it feels virtually impossible / really difficult because of my illness. I'm in and out of hospital all the time and I can't plan anything, and when I do plan things then I have to let people down. I would feel like that I would never be able to care for a child while suffering from PMDD because I can't even take care of myself. I need caring for 24/7 during my PMDD episodes, whether this be by my parents or by hospitalisation. Since my PMDD diagnosis and treatment, I've been a lot more emotionally stable, but I still experience episodes of significant disruption to my life. The only time I ever felt free from this was whilst I was taking Zoladex and it was effective, and I had a 3-month progesterone holiday. It was the best 3 months of my life since age 11. I struggle to see a future for myself if I've got to continue to live with PMDD as it is or was previous to diagnosis, or as it is now. Thinking about the past is too painful, and thinking about the future is too overwhelming. I feel like I can't plan anything in my life anymore because there's no stability now that the GnRH agonists aren't being fully effective. The GnRH agonists, so the Decapeptyl and now the Zoladex, I feel that they are becoming less and less effective each cycle. I feel like I'm slowly returning to my pre-diagnosis and treatment PMDD self, which was equally not sustainable. Like, I had anorexia, self-harm, depression, anxiety, I had 2 inpatient psychiatric admissions, I had 3 day patient psychiatric admissions. After 15 years of treatment and trying to get better through psychiatric drugs and psychological therapies, the only time I started to see any improvements at all and actually managed to make what was classed as a recovery from my anorexia and eating disorder was when I started to receive hormone treatment and treatment for my PMDD. Like, please don't tell me that's a coincidence. It just seems far too, uncoincidental, especially as I didn't really believe in my PMDD diagnosis. Like, I was really skeptical about it. I was like, oh, hormones, you've told me I've got all these other things, why would I believe that I'd got PMDD? Every episode I fear that things are returning to how they were pre-PMDD diagnosis and that I won't ever get better. However, 4 or 5 days later my symptoms and distress resolve and I realise that in fact it was just another episode. When I am unwell, my PMDD totally consumes me, and it feels impossible to think, remember or believe that it will ever pass and that I will ever be well again. However, equally, when I'm well, somehow I manage to black out how difficult things were and I can't ever imagine being that ill again. But then I'm going through it every 2 weeks and it's just completely exhausting. I can't continue like this. So they were the sort of factors that I put on the table and said, like, this is what I feel about the situation. I also added in there that I felt that, you know, PMDD wasn't just affecting my life, it was affecting everybody around me's life. So like my parents' life was on hold, and like in terms of stability, like I wouldn't be able to look after a child, and like when I sometimes have thoughts like, oh my gosh, what am I doing, when I think about having the fact that I'm fighting for a hysterectomy, I remind myself that actually, you know, I've always wanted children, but it's just not possible, and having a hysterectomy, for me personally and my situation, I feel it's the right thing to do, because I've tried everything else, and I just can't manage. I would never be able to look after a child. It would get taken into care or something, and I don't think that's fair on the child. Also probably not fair on my own psychological or mental well-being. So yeah, it's not an option whilst I'm living with PMDD. So like, please give me a chance, and like, at least if I have a hysterectomy, it's my choice, it's fully my choice, and it's at least giving me a chance at having a better life, whereas living like this is not a life at all. I don't feel like I really have any quality of life. I'm constantly in and out of hospitals. If I'm not in hospital, I seem to be at medical appointments or having physical symptoms. There are no more treatment options. Like, I've exhausted all the treatment options and they're not being effective anymore. So like, please consider it. So her response was, you know, she listened to me, she really listened to me, and she said, obviously, you know, this is a medical intervention and we've got to make sure it's in your best interests, and that you are making this with fully aware of what's going ahead and everything. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. And so obviously, because it is such a big decision in somebody my age, you know, I'm only 28, my understanding of the outcome of the meeting was that they were going to have a multidisciplinary team meeting the following week. It might have been the following day. It was the following day. They were going to have a multidisciplinary team meeting the following day. So that was going to involve lots of members of the menopause team and of the PMDD team and of like the obstetrics and gynecology team. And they were going to discuss my case and as a team come up with, you know, whether they felt it was reasonable to continue with the request for me to have a total hysterectomy and bilateral sapropharyngeal at the age of 28 for my PMDD. So that meeting happened on Thursday, and I will find out the outcome next week. My whole sense of it is that I'm feeling quite positive, in the sense that, you know, this meeting's happening, and I know that other people that are going to be present at the meeting have already said that I've reached end stage treatment and I need a hysterectomy. And I personally felt that the only person that was blocking my surgery was the surgeon, because she needed to know me and she needed to be sure of what I was saying, and that like we'd exhausted all other possibilities and that we had explored every other avenue before, you know, you take somebody's ovaries out when they're only 28. I feel like she's a little bit more confident about that decision now, but obviously I don't think anybody would want to make that decision on their own about somebody else's body. I'm just a little bit nervous now about, you know, they've made their decision, it's already happened, and I don't get to find out about it until either Monday or Wednesday. So I'm sure there'll be an update when I find out. I think I'll cry either way. There's a part of me that's been completely exhausted this last few days, because I feel like I've fought and fought and fought to get to the place where I'm at now, and like now I know there's no more I can do at the moment until I hear back from the outcome of this meeting. So I've just gone into this complete like meltdown of sleeping all the time. And also on that note, my Solidex is completely ineffective right now because I'm having a full-blown period. First proper period in like nearly a year, because all the other ones were progesterone induced, and I wasn't able to tolerate enough progesterone to actually create a proper bleed, which was why my endometrial lining was thickening more and more each time I got scanned. So it's been one roller coaster of a week, but yeah, it's good. I'll keep you all updated. Bye guys.